Welcome back, gang. Once again, Michael, or Legacy Killer HD, and there has been a ton of Red Dead Redemption 2 information to come today. As most of you already know, gameplay previews went live. I think it's been reported about 34 websites, magazines have had their previews go up, and from that we've gotten a lot of details on this upcoming experience, and it's overwhelming, but it's also just so good to hear how much attention to detail that Rockstar has given to this game. Now, I do want to give a shout out to IGN, the GTA forums, and Rockstar Intel. Those are the main source of the details that we're about to go over. I'm going to have links in the description if you guys wish to read up on them. But yeah, let's get to this new information. If you missed my video from earlier today, we already discussed a whole bunch of new gameplay details, such as a first-person mode, which has been confirmed, as well as 26 new gameplay images, which show off a lot of really cool action-packed scenes that we're going to have within RDR 2. But I do want to start with a quote coming from Jeff Keighley. As most of you know, Jeff Keighley hosts the Video Game Awards, and he actually got to play 90 minutes of Red Dead Redemption 2, and I found his quote about his experience very interesting, and I wanted to start off with that. And this is what he said: "Now, the world isn't just open, it has to borrow a term from Ken Levine, the maker of BioShock, radical recognition of the player and your actions. The traditional loop of an open world game has evolved. The familiar cadence of missions and downtime is now a dynamic ecosystem. The most stunning moments are in those pockets of time where we can expect open worlds to be frozen in time until we advance to the next mission objective. Rockstar has removed that barrier and sprinkled a living ecosystem, characters, activities, etc. throughout the experience. This is a massive leap for the industry, a living, breathing world of characters, wildlife, and dynamic events acting together. It's all the more stunning this is within the confines of a linear narrative, a simulation with player agency inside the bounds of a linear narrative." Now, I've said it before, I think that Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be a revolutionary title, and comments like this and all the praise that I've seen from various websites and magazines really does show that this game is going to be massive in multiple ways, not just sales, but it also could change this industry for the better, and also change the expectations that gamers want from other developers like Ubisoft or even CD Projekt Red. I think that games like Red Dead Redemption 2 help other developers become better. But one thing that really stood out from Jeff Keighley's comments is the word dynamic, because that has been said a lot about this game. There's just so many dynamic moments. IGN and Polygon said that these moments are going to make great for YouTube and Twitch streams, but they said that these interactions are so comical and so different every time around. So if I walk upon an NPC and maybe you walk upon an NPC, and the things that we both say may create a different conversation and maybe a more unique moment. But the thing is, these moments are not just linked to dialogue, it's also linked to how our interactions with NPCs may go in maybe a more physical manner, whether that be us going into an NPC's home and trying to steal their items and us being caught, resulting in a gunfight, a brawl, or an NPC running away for their dear life in fear of Arthur Morgan. These moments could really boost replay value, but I will also say Arthur Morgan has some really nice one-liners based on some of the dialogue that IGN listed. Anyway, we're gonna move on as we have a whole lot more to discuss and break down now. And I'm going to do this in a rundown form. We're just going to go through all the new details. So let's start with this. You can pull down your bandana by accessing the face mask option in the item wheel. So yes, the weapon wheel does return in this game, and at times during missions, gang members will ask how you wish to proceed, letting you take lead, or you can ask a gang member to take lead instead. Arthur will automatically loot everything he sees in robberies by holding down a button. You can craft new items and apparel from items you've hunted. You can approach missions stealthily and instruct gang members on missions with you to take out enemies. The gunsmith sells specialized ammunition and weapon customization options. You can buy gun oil, which you can use to restore old and dirty weapons you've found in the world to full working order, restoring their damage and other stats to their proper value. As we discussed in my last video, it has been confirmed that weapons do degrade, so you're going to have to look out for that as you play and explore the world of RDR 2. Now, other items to buy at the gunsmith includes holsters, which slow down the speed that weapons degrade over time, so that may be something useful for many players. Arthur needs to eat and sleep. If you don't sleep, you won't regenerate health or stamina as quickly. Also, weight can change based on how much you eat, which probably will impact how you can do certain things in the world, such as how fast you can run. If you eat too much food and become a little overweight, that may be a bit of a problem. But it also seems that Rockstar is taking some inspiration from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas with this feature. Now, while hunting, there's some kind of of predator instinct that will show you where your prey went. While hunting, if you're using a bow and arrow and you have the bow stretched, you can whistle to make your prey show his head and neck, which may make an easier kill. Kill cams are confirmed and focus on the best and most brutal kills, but as we discussed in my last video, again, the honor system will impact that. And to get a little bit more specific, depending on Arthur's honor, his killing styles will change, and the quote that was given is, "An outlaw barbarian will be more inclined to value heinous massacres, while a more respectable gunslinger will tend to wipe out his opponents, keeping an eye for their dignity." Now, hunting missions for legendary animals are confirmed, so yes, they are back, and there will only be one legendary animal existing for select species. Every choice has consequences. For example, we can kill hostages, but we can also leave them alive, opening ourselves to who knows what consequences. So maybe a hostage could run to the authorities, or they maybe run to a gun. So those are things that we're going to have to consider during situations like robberies or heists. But it has been said that these choices will not affect the game's ending or drastically change the story as in The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, but they will influence the new honor system. Now, with the exception of the lasso, the dagger, and another handful of gadgets like binoculars, Arthur can bring with him only 2 pistols and a long-barreled or heavy weapon, including the bow. We can craft better equipment for our fellow gang members. The minimap on the bottom left side of the screen is entirely customizable. We can change, for example, its size or what icons to show. Hand-to-hand combat has been redone from scratch, which is clear from some of the gameplay footage that has been shown thus far. You can drive a train. This is actually a really cool feature. Some of the options when in the main train car include accelerating it, braking, ring the bell, and whistling. If you accelerate and gain lots of speed, you can escape your bounty hunters, but your horse will also stay behind. The train's interiors are overflowing with details, and each object can be analyzed like in LA Noire. You are given a camera during one of the side quests, and it stays in your inventory forever. I think that was teased within the gameplay introduction, that one interaction that Arthur has with a cameraman. You can also take pictures of landscapes or self-portraits with it. Self-portraits don't just include the head and upper body like modern selfies, but the whole of Arthur. You can sleep and change your clothes in your tent as well as fast traveling. Story missions initiate time jumps, and cities and states are built and growing as you progress, which is very interesting because based on Red Dead Redemption's lore and Dutch's gang, we know that there's some really key moments like in 1906, so it's going to be interesting how far this game spans. If it's going to be 1899 to like 1901, or is it going to be like 1899 to something like 1908, maybe just before the events of Red Dead Redemption occur. You can wear animal carcasses as a hat. Your horse will be slowed down if he falls in the mud. You have to exit the mud, and then his speed will gradually return to normal as he shakes off the mud from his feet. Arthur can swim, but not very well. It hasn't really been given a complete description of this, but it is said that it's possible that his stamina or other stats affect his ability to swim, like certain clothing. Arthur will be dizzy and his vision blurry if he does not eat. After handling a dead animal, Arthur's hands will have blood all over them. Snow is completely physically simulated into the game world. Wind blows it off of trees and horses, or onto trees, horses, and people. In some of the buildings, there are secret back rooms where things like illegal poker are played. One of the interactions mentioned was that Arthur Morgan, I guess, came upon a door and he knocked on it, and somebody looked through the hole, and Arthur Morgan, I guess, got his way into the room somehow, and he found out that illegal poker was going on, and he shot up the whole place, killing everybody and taking the money. So that's a really cool interaction that we could have. Now, a completely different side mission that was detailed involved Arthur sucking the venom from a snake out of an NPC to help them survive. It's unknown if Arthur will be able to heal himself that way if he does get bitten by a snake. Now, I wanted to include one quote coming from multiplayer.it, an Italian gaming website who did a Q&A with random people asking questions, and one of the questions was if we could, if you could interact with working girls or do stuff like that. And the answer they gave is you can rent a room in hotels, there you can rest, eat, shower, and so on. While showering, a working girl can knock on your door and ask if you want the special/premium service. If selected, she'll start washing you and putting her hands in certain places. But there's no full nudity scene for it, and we don't know if there's any explicit content in the game. The important thing to note is that even though members of the press got to play around 2 to 3 hours of this game, there's still a lot of things that they weren't allowed to see or just didn't get the chance to see, like St. Denis, and I'm sure there's other things like boating. There's stuff that Rockstar's making sure that we all wait to see once we actually get the game. And brothels and stuff like this, maybe that goes along that, maybe not. Either way, everything is going to make sense for Arthur Morgan, so if that makes sense, it'll be included. Now, the gang apparently has a big money stash stored somewhere in Blackwater, but it becomes becomes inaccessible after the failed bank heist, which forced them to flee north and east out of West Elizabeth. And going off of that a little bit more, the game does start in the Grizzlies after Blackwater. You are locked to the snowy mountains of northwest Amberino during the game's introduction. After that, the whole map is free to explore. So as we discussed just a few weeks ago, it does appear that the blizzard of 1899 is something that's going to come into play, and I'm guessing that the authorities or the Pinkerton agents are going to believe that we died from the horrible conditions, but obviously we won't, and more than likely the opening of the game will be pretty easy and things will probably get a little harder once the authorities start getting closer on our tracks. Now, leaving your horse far behind means it could get lost forever, like jumping on a train as was mentioned earlier, unless you get back to him. Your whistle has a range, but it can improve during the game by bonding with your horse. You can also come across famous gunslingers who are listed on cards as the best shooters ever. You can go after them and collect them like animals. It wasn't really detailed how that works, what it means by going after them, if like facing a duel with them or just interacting with them. That'll be something that hopefully we'll get some more details on later on, because it would be really cool to come upon a younger and I guess more in his prime Landon Ricketts. Now, Arthur does sing to himself if he has a song in his head and can talk to himself in the mirror. If you kill a civilian, it's possible their family members will hunt you down throughout the game. That's really cool, showing some of the choice and consequence that I was talking about earlier as well. Dialogue on Horseback was recorded twice, one for close proximity and one for yelling when far away. So this kind of reminds me of the recent Spider-Man game where they recorded dialogue twice as Peter Parker was web-slinging across New York City or when he was just standing on top of a building not doing anything. Very, very cool that Rockstar did incorporate this. That's that realism that they're aiming for this game. Dual wielding is an unlockable skill in Red Dead Redemption 2, so it's not something that we're going to have right away. Fellow gang members will also loot downed bodies, so move fast or they'll bogart all the extra cash and ammo, so that's something that we're going to have to consider. Arthur's comments while grooming or soothing his horse will change depending on the sex of the horse. If Arthur is covered in mud or blood, the reaction you'll get from those around you will be different than if he were clean. There was some leaks and rumors going around a long time ago saying if you were to enter into maybe a more rich area and if they saw you looking a certain way, they may treat you differently. So I do find that interesting. And the one thing that everybody's been curious about, horses. Horses do poop dynamically. Now, a lot of people have been worried about that, but Rockstar took very good care of these horses in this game. If you remember in my last video, we just discussed how the horse testes are very detailed. And one thing that also goes along with horses is that you can name your horse. I already know that I'll be naming mine Roach. Let me know down in the comment section below what you're going to name your horse. I've already seen a lot of you guys telling me all kinds of really cool names that you have, and maybe you have some other ones that you want to let me know down below. You can store horses in stables, so yes, you can have multiple horses in case you need a backup horse, because if your horse dies, it's gone. They're not like cars in Grand Theft Auto 5 that can be resurrected via an insurance claim. There's a stable that sells supplies to help you maintain your roster of horses, and you can visit the stables to customize your horse, switching out its saddle, blanket, stirrups, reins, and saddle horn. You can also change the style of its mane and tail, making it short, medium, or long, adding braids, or even changing it to dreadlocks. So yes, I guess you could call this the Wild West Los Santos Customs in a way, I guess. And putting on a bandana during a crime and then taking it off afterwards makes the wanted meter drop faster, provided you're out of the search radius. If you get a bounty on your head in a town and then clear your name by paying the said bounty, townspeople will still remember any trouble you caused and comment on it when you return. And something that was included in Red Dead Redemption that I'm actually happy is included is that you can buy newspapers which will cover events that occur throughout the story. The confirmed mini-games so far include poker, five-finger fillet, fishing, and dominoes. Deceased bodies that haven't been looted will be marked on the minimap, and lastly, Rob Wiedoff is confirmed to be back, betraying John Marston, but it has been noted John Marston is more aggressive, younger, and loyal to Dutch Vanderlyn. Not exactly the same character we met 8 years ago, who is very regretful for his past. So yes, we discussed a lot of new gameplay details, and there's still a lot more to come, so make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. We're going to have a lot to discuss in the coming days. We're still waiting on the next gameplay video, hopefully coming very, very soon, but again, make sure you are subscribed. But thank you guys for watching. Which gameplay detail is your favorite, or what are you looking forward to with Red Dead Redemption 2? What's some of the first things that you're going to do once you get the game loaded up? Let me know. But thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video or found found any informative value, and make sure to follow me on my social media for my fastest reaction and updates, and remember, Outlaws for life.